Hi, this is Mariah Gullo from The Hollywood Reporter, and I'm in studio today with Leslie Grossman.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. So exciting. American Horror Story Apocalypse is upon us.
It is upon us.
We are out of the gate with a bang,
it's
literally.
unavoidable, yes.
I mean, this is wild. This is going to be
that
a wild
first episode
season.
Was a lot. I mean, there was a lot of things coming at you.
Yeah.
And I think it was really fun. I think it was really
Yeah.
fun. I think it's pretty fantastic that a show in its 8th season is still reinventing the wheel and keeping you guessing and throwing stuff at you that you never expected. So I love that I get to be a part of it.
Yes. Were you able to see the first episode put together, and how does it feel to finally see an episode put together?
I did not see it put together.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's funny because it's never what you think it's going to look like. You know, like even while you're shooting the scene and you know exactly where the camera is, then you're like, that's what they were doing? Like you never quite know what it's going to be. But I thought it came off brilliantly, and I think it was really funny and scary and all of those things all rolled up together. So I don't love watching myself, so I watch like little bits and pieces, and I'd rather watch scenes that I'm not in, but I do watch kind of like this, like when it's myself. It's traumatic. Like, you know how horrible it is to hear your voice recorded?
Yes,
Imagine having to see yourself like walking and talking.
Yeah.
Like I will watch this interview and then be like, how did she not punch me in the face and force me out the room?
Right.
So anyway, it was fun to get to watch it, and it was I was able to watch a little bit of it with my daughter. I have an 11-year-old, and I certainly didn't let her watch any of Cult last year.
Sure.
So this year she was able to watch a little bit of the beginning, although then she was like, wait, what's nuclear war? And I was like, let's table that for another time.
Oh, no.
So there you go.
And, you know, American Horror Story Cult was the first episode that didn't have any supernatural happening.
Correct.
There was no ghosts, there were no demons, there were no witches. So are you feeling like you're entering into new territory here with this season?
You know, last year I loved Cult. I thought it was an important commentary on what was going on at the time and continues to go on at the time, and I think it was really great that they made the choice to do something different and unique that year. But I'm having fun being a part of this.
Yeah.
Because there's no rules, you know? Like anything can happen at any time, and I can't believe how brilliantly creative Ryan Murphy and the other writers are with the stuff they come up with. Like, it's so brilliant, the stuff they come up with. So it's exciting to get to read the scripts every week, and I was like, ooh, I didn't even know you could do that, or that's so magical and interesting. So it's been fun to get to be a part of a supernatural season.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when you and the other cast members, do you ever talk about, I mean, we haven't seen much yet. We've only seen a couple of episodes so far. But what you do see is that, you know, two characters might be talking in a room, and then it pans up and there's a rubber man on the ceiling watching them. Like you don't as cast members, you don't see that. You don't see all of the
and we don't get to see
tricks.
And I'll say, oh my God, that looks so cool, or that was so neat what they were doing with the camera. I knew they were doing something funky, but I didn't know what it was going to quite look like. And they're so good at what they do. I mean, everybody from the camera department to wardrobe, hair, makeup, I mean, production design, how gorgeous is that bunker? Isn't it beautiful what they did? I mean, when I walked into those sets for the first time, and just the way they light it and the whole world that they created, it's fun to get to be a part of it. And there are definitely times when I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm so lucky that I get to be doing this. Like, this is really, really lucky. So I'm very appreciative of it as well.
Let's talk a little bit about your character.
Sure.
Coco.
She's subtle.
Coco St. Pierre Vanderbilt.
Correct. You got it. That's quite a mouthful. And I think the name itself lets you know exactly who she is.
Yes.
You know, Coco really came out with a bang, didn't she? She was just right out the gate. But Coco has layers. You will see those layers unfold as the series continues. But the truth is, I don't even know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure where everything's going to end up, which is sort of exciting also, that I don't know from week to week what's going to happen. I wait for the new scripts like a person watching TV waits for the new episodes, you know? So I'm a fan, just like anyone else is. So we'll have to see where Coco's journey leads.
Yeah.
Even I don't know yet. We're in the middle of the journey, but I don't know where it ends.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. Within the first 2 episodes, I feel like you're almost, it feels like the end of the season already. Like it feels like an episode 8, not an episode 2.
You think so?
Because so much has happened.
So much happens.
I mean, the character, your character, Coco.
Yes.
She she's kind of represents the worst of humanity. Like somebody who bought their way
Yes.
into a survivalist situation.
Absolutely. Someone who doesn't deserve it and really brings nothing to the table in terms of, repopulating the earth or being, saving the most important special people. Coco really should have been taken out, with the garbage. But money allowed her to buy her ticket into the future.
So that makes me think like she's either going to die this horrible death, a comeuppance for her personality, or she's going to come out on top. You really don't know.
We really don't know yet, do we? We'll just have to see. I always feel terrible in these interviews because it is like the most intense no spoiler show on earth. Like you cannot say anything. You go to American Horror Story jail. So I really always play it very, very safe.
Yeah.
I will suffice it to say that there's more to Coco than meets the eye. That's good. Okay.
I like that.
I'll stick with that.
I like that.
Okay. I wish I could give you more.
Yeah, no, but wait, here's like a weird little fansy thing to ask you.
Go.
So she saves her hairdresser.
Correct.
But in episode 1, when some time has passed, her hair looks awful.
Well,
what happened?
I think the thought behind that, now you have to understand that Michelle Siglia, who does the hair, who is fantastic and has won many Emmys, and, my hair is her world, and I let her do whatever she wants. And she really, Coco has a different hairstyle in every single scene, and they're really elaborate and intense. I mean, the work she does is she's really gifted and brilliant. And that's really not my business. That's Michelle's business, and I let her do what she wants. So she had this really brilliant, funny idea that, how it cuts to 18 months later? We think we're being saved, and then it cuts, and then I look crazy. Yeah. Her feeling was that Evan's character was just sort of like tripping out and just teasing and teasing and teasing until it became this big, horrible frisball. But I have to say, all I had to do was walk on set in that hair, and everybody just burst out laughing. It had like an Orphan Annie, blonde Orphan Annie vibe going on. And I mean, it was just fun and hilarious. So I think it was supposed to be that we have been stuck for all of these months with nothing to do but to mess with my hair. So that's, I think, the origin of that crazy hairstyle.
Excellent. A little fan favorite explained.
There you go.
What was it like working with the legendary Joan Collins?
I was very excited when I found out that Joan was going to be on the show. I mean, I clearly watched Dynasty as a kid, and I mean, just worshipped her growing up, and she's so iconic. And that word gets not misused, but overused now. Everything's iconic now. She really is iconic.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what to expect, and I thought, she'll probably be sort of cold and just want to do her thing. She is fantastic. She's everything you want her to be and more. Not only is she obviously gorgeous, elegant, glamorous, and brilliant at this part, she is lovely and funny and warm and with a wonderful greeting and a hug every morning, and funny and great and just a pleasure to work with. It's been really, really, really fun. She's the best. She's the best. I'm very lucky.
She gets the best one-liners.
The best. I mean, I think everybody was just so thrilled that she was involved in the show, and nobody can sell a line like Joan.
Yeah. Absolutely. So then also another one of your cast members, Billy Eichner, he plays your husband. And in episode 1, it looks like he blows up in Santa Monica, but that can't possibly be true.
You'll have to tune in and see if Brock's character somehow manages to survive the nuclear blast. But I was just so thrilled that Billy and I, even though we don't get to work together in that first episode, we're working sort of adjacent to each other. I just adore him and love him, and he's so smart and so funny. And I thought he was fantastic in the first episode also. And he has the best line. "Don't leave me in Santa Monica, you bitch." I mean, that was so, and I knew that nobody was going to be able to sell that line like Billy, and he didn't disappoint, did he? Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite thing about Billy Eichner?
There's a lot of things that I love about Billy, so it's hard to narrow it down to one, but it has to be, his sense of humor, obviously, but Billy is whip smart, and you can talk to him really about anything, and he's also really fun to talk about politics with. So I would say my favorite thing about Billy Eichner is his mind. He's very smart.
On American Horror Story, you're really crossing the line between some heavy subject matter and then some comedy. And
yes.
So how does it feel like kind of negotiating that? What's the blood and gore situation for the season? I know you can't give anything away, but
I think there's room for both.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are people who don't want any comedy in their horror, and that's fine. You know, Ryan is a brilliant writer, and he has a great, excellent, wicked sense of humor. And I just feel lucky that I get to say all of the incredible, hilarious one-liners that he comes up with. I'm thinking of some of the stuff I said to Joan in the last episode, which there were some swears in it. But I think it goes together hand in hand. And I think that the show has always had humor in it. Some episodes definitely, not episodes, some seasons, definitely more than others. But it works. And I think that the fans of the show should know that they will get all the blood and guts that they could ever want. I think that the show gets really, really scary. It's the best special effects people in the biz, and the stuff that they do is pretty fantastic. So I think that they work together well. I really do. And I think that most people really enjoy it. And for those people who don't, I'm sorry. Sorry, but that's what the show is this year. So what can I say? I do what the boss says.
Right. Speaking of Ryan Murphy, you've worked with him in the past, but you're kind of a new member of the American Horror Story family. So how does that feel?
I mean, it's not a place I ever thought Ryan would plug me into, to be perfectly honest. I'm usually a comedic, funny lady, but I think that he's really figured out a way to put me in a way that's really clever and works well. And I'm just thrilled. I'm so happy that I get to be a part of it. When he first brought it up to me last year about Cult, I was just totally blown away. It's not the show that I ever thought he was going to want to put me into. So I'm having the best time. I mean, truly, it's the best time. And I've never gotten a chance to do a real genre show like this and to get to work with, the special effects stuff and the blood and the guts and all of that. So it's been a great learning experience for me and a total pleasure and a joy.
Yeah. And, we talked a little bit before about how it just keeps getting better and better. American
I think
Horror
so.
Story. But do you have any theories as to how they continue to top themselves?
Well, the theory is that it's Ryan's brilliant genius mind. And another word that gets overused is genius. Ryan is a genius. He really is. And he's an incredibly unique person because it's the brilliance combined with a work ethic, the likes of which I have never seen before. I mean, he really is a machine. He's the least lazy person I've ever known in my entire life. Like, he's not comfortable unless there's like 50 different things in the air at all times. So it really begins and ends with Ryan. Obviously, Tim Minear, Crystal Liu, the writing staff are brilliant, and they execute his vision brilliantly, and he trusts them to do that. But it's really Ryan who's the one who comes up with the grand idea, and I don't know how he does it. I really don't. And honestly, it just gets chalked up to genius. That's his special gift. So it's pretty amazing.
Wonderful. Well, Leslie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to seeing what happens to Coco.
Let me know what you think.
For American Horror Story Apocalypse.
It's going to be fun, I promise. Sorry, I talked over you.
No, it's fine. It's going to be, you promise it's going to be fun.
I promise you.
Not too scary.
Not too scary, not too funny either. If you don't want too much comedy, you're going to have all the scary gore that you want. And if it's hard for you to look at the gore, you can focus on the comedy. So there's something for everyone.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.